Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to try something a little bit differently. I'm going to try like a rapid fire approach where we can keep things quick and nimble. And then my goal is to, within 5 minutes, show you 5 tips, tricks, and or hacks on how to make your images more dramatic and visually impactful. So without wasting more time, we'll skip the intro and we'll jump right into it. To keep me honest, I've got a timer right here. So let's do it. All right, so our first example here is going to be using a kind of just a white brush on a soft light layer. So right here, I've just hit it twice, so we're making sure we're extra white. We're going to change this to soft light. Oops. And then what this does is gives me a moving highlight where I can find parts of an image that I might want to accentuate. So maybe I'll leave that one there. You can also adjust opacity, and then you can create more. So here's another one. Let's switch that to soft light again. And if we want to accentuate, an area like the basketball here, this just is a good tool to kind of move around an image and potentially show you some areas that you can accentuate with some extra lighting. So that's the first one, soft light. All right, moving on to the second one. So on this image, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a stamp visible layer, which is Shift Option Command E. And that'll give us this layer here, basically combining everything we can see on the screen. We're gonna go up to Filter, Other, High Pass. And you'll see I've kind of got it set here at 59, but you can adjust. You can kind of see what this does. What this does is going to give us some extra clarity or contrast, kind of based on lines within the image, kind of what you have going on in the image. And so we can adjust this at different levels to make it higher or lower. Then we're gonna go over here and switch this to soft light, reduce the opacity. I've done this before in some of the images on here. And so you can kind of see we brought in some extra contrast. You just want to be careful about any haloing and around different objects and stuff. So that's where you adjust the opacity on that tip there. So that is high pass, taking high pass up to over 50 or in the area of 50. Okay, our next one, this one's gonna be more of contrast, kind of using color. What we're gonna do is gonna go in here to our layer palette here, and we're gonna pull up channel mixer, switch this to monochrome, bring the red channel down, and then crank up the blue. Let me zoom in a little. The blue and the greens to where the image is kind of looks pretty good as a black and white image. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch this to soft light. So you can see instantly we've got some added contrast, and it's kind of dark in the image, so we're gonna adjust the opacity again, right there. And then the neat trick here is we can duplicate this layer. We'll take it to normal, and then that will mute the colors somewhat. So we've got some muted colors. We can come in here, we can adjust these using the sliders. What this does, and make a group so you can see right here the difference here. So this gives you kind of a muted color, more of a grungy type look, but it does great with skin tones, and you can obviously adjust opacity, make it customized to whatever the look is that you want. But another way to adjust contrast and color. All right, our next image. This one, let's zoom in a little. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go back. We've duplicated our background layer, and we are going to open or reopen the Camera Raw filter. So once we come into Camera Raw, we all know about the clarity slider. So clarity will crank up your contrast and some details in the image. We're gonna use the clarity a little bit on this, but then what I wanna accentuate is the texture. Texture we can take up, and you can see these smaller droplets within the image here that are coming out, details within the visor here. So you can see this clarity. You're also getting some details on the face mask that you weren't getting before. So we'll click OK there. With any of these effects, layer mask are your friends. I like to invert mask. And so we'll come back in here and brush with white, 100% just for the sake of this. And you can see where we're painting in some of those details. And if we want to accentuate some of the, this works great on jerseys, clothing, like uniforms, gloves, but where it doesn't look great is on skin. So you want to avoid using this type of thing on skin as much as possible. All right, on to our next one and our last example. A little bit different than what I've been showing before, but what we're going to do here is duplicate this layer. We are just simply going to turn it to multiply. And let's reduce this multiply layer down to 50%. We will open our layer mask. We will pull out the brush tool. And what we're going to do is paint on the areas that we want to accentuate. So we're going to go black. We're going to paint out these areas. I'm obviously doing this very quickly. And we'll bring back in the details that we feel are important to this image. Probably this guy over here. Maybe the tail ends of these guys. And then what we can do is maybe just a general change our brush to 40%. We kind of bring in this area here. So what this does is gives you more control over where people are going to look in your image. So you're basically directing the eyes of the viewer, and this multiply layer is really an amazing tool. Very simple. You can obviously adjust it even more with opacity and customize it however you feel fit. So that is the last tip that I figured I would throw out there today. Whew. I mean, that was hard. I didn't quite keep it within 5 minutes. It was a lot to go over in a short amount of time, but I tried my best. If you have, after watching this, if you have more questions or comments about any of these techniques, please leave them in the comments below. If you've learned something here, please hit that thumbs up button down there. That helps greatly. Also, subscribe if you haven't already. I'm gonna try and keep making videos like this. You can always find me on Instagram and Twitter @QuantzPhoto. Also, if you've got any more ideas for videos you'd like for me to do, please feel free to drop those in the comments below. Stay safe and healthy out there, and I plan on being here in the next one. Thank you.